I want to tell you about this guy who was just executed. His name was Jesus, son of Joseph, from Bethlehem. He, his mother, and his late father were family friends. His father Joseph was like a favorite uncle to me. I still mourn him. I'm still working to prepare life for a wife and a family, so I'm not married. But at the time that this took place, my brother was getting married in our hometown of Cana. Jesus had always been the religious type, but apparently he had just decided to become a rabbi for a living because he was there with his disciples. And also, apparently, he had just decided to be baptized by his weird cousin John in the Jordan River 3 days earlier. Family. If you don't have their backs, who will? Anyway, I hadn't met his disciples yet, but they were just regular guys like me who worked with their hands. We were all hanging out, having fun, laughing and talking. Andrew, Simon, Nathaniel, Philip, and me were making fun of Jesus because he was 30 and didn't have a girlfriend. He was making fun of us because we all knew the scriptures, but none of us knew what they meant. They were all making fun of me because I was the youngest and only had one hair on my chin. All of a sudden, his mother Mary comes around the corner to tell him that they were out of wine. I was hoping she would keep her voice down because if word got out that my father and brother had run out of wine, they would have both been humiliated since my brother was in charge of the wine and it was his wedding day. I assumed she was looking at him because he was her son, but I expected someone to tell me to go to the market. All he said was, "Dear woman, how am I mixed up in this? This isn't my feast." She just looked at him like she knew some secret and then told my father's servants to obey his every command. He was the coolest guy I had ever seen under pressure. He had no grapes, no vat to press them in, no time to ferment them, and nothing to mix in the juice for flavor. But he had the most calm, controlled, and commanding face I'd ever seen. All he said to my father's servants was, "Fill up those purification jars with water," and that once they were full, they should let my father have a drink. When I heard my father exclaim and then saw him pull my brother outside where we were to talk to him, I knew we were both in trouble. But then my father began to compliment my brother on such a fine acquisition of wine. His only rebuke was that my brother was supposed to serve the best wine first, according to custom. Then he said my brother was a man now, and gave him a hug. When my father walked away, my brother was both confused and pleased with himself. Jesus said nothing. I just looked at him and said, "How? Why?" I was in awe and confusion. He only said this: "I picked the 6 purification jars because they symbolize the state of all men. In order to do my Father's will, every man must be purified from the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, the pride of life, loving anything more than God, not loving our neighbors as ourselves, and any broken self-image." What is broken self-image, I said. Men with broken self-images are men who feel arrogant and men who feel inferior. So what did you mean when you said this wasn't your feast? And you still haven't quite told me how you did this. My feast is Passover. Like Passover, the only way to purify brokenness is with blood. I just gave them some of my blood. The next time you see me drink, you'll be at my wedding. That was all he said. I didn't understand what he was talking about until today. So that's a sample using all the elements that men can relate to. All right. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time. This is